Carl Icahn is a businessman and an activist investor. He is widely regarded as one of the most successful hedge fund managers of all time. He was one of the first activist shareholders and one of the most feared men on Wall Street. And he earned his reputation by making a lot of hostile takeovers over the years. Unfortunately, last decade was not good for Icahn, and that is an understatement. First, he exited his Netflix investment far too early, leaving billions of dollars on the table. Then he started to short a number of growth stocks, and that ended with $7 billion of losses in just 5 years. But that was just the beginning of his problems. In May 2023, Carl Icahn's net worth plummeted by $10 billion in just one day. Why? Well, we'll get to that later in the video. For now, we just have to know that his 10-year performance is minus 58.3%. So, on one hand, we will analyze a stock portfolio of one of the greatest investors. On the other hand, we will analyze it probably a bit as a cautionary tale. We may observe certain actions that can be a warning sign for us, teaching us what to avoid. Okay, so let's go through the history of his 10 biggest US positions, and let's start with Conduent Incorporated. It makes up 1.08% of his portfolio, and last quarter he did not make any changes to this position. Conduent Incorporated offers digital platforms for businesses and governments. On January 3, 2017, Conduent formally came into existence following its separation from Xerox. And at the end of the first quarter of 2017, Carl Icahn owned 9.7% of the company. In 2019, when the price fell below $8, he added substantially to this position, and right now he owns over 18% of the company and is the largest shareholder. The price went down from $16 when he first invested to just over $3. So it is a very poor investment for him. Next up is JetBlue Airways. It makes up 1.1% of his portfolio, and it is a new position for Icahn. JetBlue Airways is an American low-cost airline. Carl Icahn just bought it, so we can't really say anything about this investment. Next up is Dana Incorporated. It makes up 1.52% of his portfolio, and last quarter he did not make any changes to this position. Dana Incorporated is an American supplier of drive shafts, transmissions, and digital equipment for conventional, hybrid, and electric power vehicles. Carl Icahn bought his first shares in Q4 2020 for around $19. He made this position much bigger while the price was going up, and when he stopped buying, the price started to go down. And right now it is around $12, so also here he's definitely in the red. Next up is CVR Partners. It makes up 2.57% of his portfolio, and it is a new position for Icahn. CVR Partners engages in the production and sale of fertilizer products. Carl Icahn just bought CVR Partners, and if you want to learn more about this company, we analyzed it on this channel, so you can find the link to that analysis in the description. Next, we have International Flavors and Fragrances Incorporated. It makes up 2.71% of his portfolio, and last quarter he added to this position 481.84%. International Flavors and Fragrances Incorporated is a global leader in the creation of flavors, fragrances, and other sensory experiences. Carl Icahn bought his first shares in Q1 2022 for around $130. The price kept on going down, and last quarter he added a huge amount of shares for around $85. So just as with other investments so far, he is losing money. But at least this time he is buying when the price is declining. So he probably believes it is very undervalued, or he needs to get more shares to take control of the board and turn this company around. His fifth biggest investment is Bausch Health. It makes up 3.09% of his portfolio, and last quarter he did not make any changes to this position. Bausch Health is a pharmaceutical company. Carl Icahn bought his first shares in Q4 2020 for something close to $20. But he really made it a substantial position when the price went up to over $30. Unfortunately, also this investment does not look too good. The stock is around a $10 mark. We see that with all his investments, he's not making a lot of movements. He's holding those companies for many years and very seldom selling any shares. But so far, those companies all seem like mistakes. But now we get to a very interesting investment, Occidental Petroleum WTS. It makes up 5.96% of his portfolio, and last quarter he did not make any changes to this position. Occidental Petroleum is one of the largest oil producers in the US, and they have also a significant presence in the Middle East and Latin America. But Carl Icahn does not own ordinary shares of this company. Instead, he owns Occidental Petroleum warrants, which basically allow him to purchase Occidental stock at $22 as long as he buys the shares before August 2027. Currently, the stock price of Occidental Petroleum is around $59, so that can be a super profitable investment. He bought those warrants just after they were issued by the company and sold some of them for around $30, making a nice gain. And now he is probably waiting for the Occidental Petroleum price to go even higher. And it is possible because Warren Buffett is constantly buying the shares and pushing the price higher and higher. His third biggest position is Southwest Gas Holdings. It makes up 7.04% of his portfolio, and last quarter he did not make any changes to this position. Southwest Gas Holdings Incorporated provides natural gas service to over 2 million residential, commercial, and industrial customers in Arizona, Nevada, and California. Carl Icahn bought his first shares in Q3 2021 for around $66. We see that he was adding to this position regardless of the price, and he is probably slightly in the green with this investment. But he owns 15.4% of this company, and it is quite clear that it is a company that he wants to control, make changes, and sell with a much greater profit than what he has today. His second biggest position is CVR Energy Incorporated. It makes up 19.96% of his portfolio, and last quarter he did not make any changes to this position. CVR Energy Incorporated is a petroleum refining company. It also holds about 37% of CVR Partners stock, which Icahn also owns, as we saw earlier. Carl Icahn bought his first shares in Q4 2011 for around $21. And during 3 quarters, he bought so many shares that right now, after selling some of them, he owns 66.3% of the company. He probably is in the green with this investment, but we should not forget that he also made huge amounts of money through dividends. His average buying price was probably between $25 and $30, and for every share he got over $41 as dividends. So he made his money back, he got a nice profit, and he still owns over 66% of the company. Quite good. And his biggest position is Icahn Enterprises. It makes up 52.51% of his portfolio, and last quarter he did not make any changes to this position. Icahn Enterprises invests in various industries including energy, automotive, food packaging, metals, real estate, and home fashion. Carl Icahn created this company, and through the years he bought more and more shares, and now he owns well over 80% of it. And when we look at 2023, we see a huge drop in price of this company, and it is basically going down every quarter since. So now we get back to the 2nd of May 2023 when Carl Icahn net worth went down by $10 billion. On that day, Hindenburg Research has published a report on Icahn Enterprises. The key points from this report were that Icahn Enterprises was overvalued by more than 75%, that its investment portfolio had lost about 53% since 2014, and the company had burned through approximately $4.9 billion in free cash flow over the same period. And finally, that Icahn Enterprises had a dividend yield of around 15.8%, the highest of any US large cap company, and that it was unsustainable given the company's negative cash flow and investment performance. It was suggested that Icahn Enterprises had been using money from new investors to pay dividends to existing investors, so basically that this company is a huge Ponzi scheme. These revelations led to a sharp decline in Icahn Enterprises' stock price as investors reacted to the potential risks highlighted by the report. And so Carl Icahn lost over $10 billion that day. We can clearly see that Icahn is not a typical value investor. He's playing a different game. He's trying to find opportunities like with Occidental Petroleum warrants, or create opportunities by taking control of a company, changing it, and generating a lot of cash for himself and his investors. But his results in the last decade are really bad. Even without the crash in May 2023, he was not doing very well. So what can we learn from his story? Well, maybe that extremely high dividend yields can become a trap, and we should really understand the company even if we want to be dividend investors. Or that if we are chasing incredible results, we are getting into a very risky territory. And we have to decide, are we okay with such volatility and such a high risk of losing the majority of our money? Or is stable dividend investing or investing in quality companies a better road for us, even though we have a smaller chance of achieving extraordinary results? It just shows that Warren Buffett was probably right when he said that investing is simple, but it is not easy. If you would like to learn more about other famous investors and their portfolios, then you may find those videos interesting. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.